Hey guys, today's video is going to be a tutorial on this look that I'm wearing today. It's going to be using the Tartelette in Bloom palette, which I kind of picked up on a whim. I wasn't even really planning on getting this until I saw it in person and I was like, oh my god. This is just a beautiful palette. I'm so glad that I picked it up. This is probably, honestly, one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that I own, and I've only had it for like 2 weeks. Basically, the thing that I love most about this palette is that I can use just this palette for one eye look. Like, it has everything that I need. Anyways, I just really like this palette. I'm really glad that I picked it up. Let me know if you guys have this, what you think. I'm just gonna stop rambling and get into the tutorial. So if you guys want to know how to get this look, I'm just gonna hop into it. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the eyes instead of my face because, as you know, when you're working with glitter and it gets on your foundation, it's like the worst thing ever. So I'm gonna do the foundation last. Alright, so first step, I'm gonna take Charmer and Flower Child down here. I'm gonna mix these two on this kind of flat fluffy brush, and I'm gonna use this as a base eyeshadow because these two pretty much match my skin tone perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this light tan shade right here. It's called Smarty Pants, and this is the Smith 232. It's just a big blending brush. And I'm just going to pop this right into the crease. This is like the perfect transition shade that's in this palette. So I'm just going to really quickly blend this into my crease and blend it up a little bit towards my brow bone. So once that's all blended out, I'm going to take Rebel, which is this light matte kind of mauve-y pink color, and I'm going to use this on this, I think it's a crown brush. It's kind of like a dual-ended brush. It's got a fluffy side and then a pencil brush side. I think I got this in like an Ipsy bag a long time ago. But if you just have a pencil brush, it'll work for this step. So I'm going to take that color on this end, and I'm just going to place this in the inner and outer corner of my eyes. So I'm just going to kind of look downwards and pat this on. I'm going to pat it pretty much all the way up to the crease, or where you can see like your eye socket area, if that makes sense. And I'm pretty much just going to do this on like this outer third and then this inner third, and then leave the center blank. So now I'm just going to take the fluffy end of the brush, I'm going to dip it in some more of that color, and I'm just going to put this in the crease. And I really like this brush for the crease actually because it's really dense and it doesn't blend out the color too much. But if you guys just want to use like a regular blending brush, that's totally fine. But since this is here, I just might as well use this. So I'm just gonna kind of wiggle this all the way across the crease to meet those two parts that we just colored in together. And then I'm just blending that out by kind of doing back and forth windshield wiper motions and then like tiny little circular motions. This just really helps to blend it out. So pretty much in between each step of putting color into the crease, I'm just gonna take a clean, fluffy blending brush. This is by Elle, and I'm just going to really softly and gently blend out that crease. So doing this in between each step of adding color is gonna make it look even more smoky and blended. Moving on, I'm gonna take Leader over here on the same pencil side of this brush, and this is kind of just like a darker version of the last color that we put down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go directly over what we just did. This is just going to help the smokiness effect. Like, the thing with eyeshadow is that you just want to layer it on to make it more smoky and more blended looking. You don't just want to go in with like the darkest color first and try to blend it out because it's not going to look as blended, I guess. So I'm just going to kind of repeat that last step, put this in the same areas, and then switch to the other side of the brush again, you guessed it, and then just pop a little bit of this in the crease. One thing I will say that I'm doing a little bit differently is not blending this up as far as I blended up Rebel, which is the lighter pink, so you can still kind of see some of the Rebel showing through. Once again, taking the fluffy brush and just blending out really quick. I'm not spending like 5 million years on this blending step, I'm just doing it for like maybe 30 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to take Activist. Basically, I'm just going from here to here to here to here. So I'm just going to take this on the pencil side, and I'm just going to really focus this on like the inner and very outer corner, so I'm not going to put it on as much of a surface area as those last two colors. Basically going to focus this on like the outer and innermost parts of my eye. Now I'm switching to a smaller brush, and this is the Real Techniques shading brush. I'm going to dip it right back into Activist, and I'm just going to really lightly sweep this across the crease. And I'm using a smaller brush for this because I don't want it to take up as much of the crease as the last two colors did, because this is the darkest color. I kind of want to focus it in the lower part of the crease so it kind of blends up into like a gradient look. So once that's kind of roughly placed on there, I'm going to take this fluffy side of this brush again, and I'm just going to mix it into Rebel and Leader, both of these kind of magenta colors. And I'm just going to really lightly blend this over that dark color. Just going to take this brush one more time and just do one last, well, I don't know if this is the last time, but for now we'll say it's the last time. Just going to do this blending of the crease. I'm going to highlight my brow bone. I'm going to use Charmer, which is the lightest kind of matte white color, and I'm just going to place this right underneath my brow. I'm not going to drag it down too far because I did really smoke this up pretty high, and then I'm just going to extend it all the way to the inner part of my brow. And then I'm going to highlight the inner corner when I'm done with foundation and stuff. So what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to use Firecracker, which is this color right here. It's just a really, really pretty shimmery brown coppery color. The shimmers in this palette are freaking amazing. I love them. They're so pigmented and soft and creamy. Anyways, I'm going to take this on the Smith 256 and I spritzed it with a little bit of Fix Plus. And then I'm just going to place this in this center part that we left bare. So and make it a little bit darker there, and then also make it a little bit darker on the outer part of my eye and the very innermost part. I'm going to be using this glitter called Modern Love. It's in a size 2 and this is by Lit Cosmetics. Anyways, I'm just going to go in with my Lit Cosmetics glitter adhesive, and I'm just going to take this on my finger. You can use this on a brush if you want, but I don't like dirtying up my brushes with it, so I'm just going to pat this on the center of my lid right over that shimmery lid color. And then using a separate finger, I'm going to take some of that glitter on there and just dab this right over the top. Okay, so I'm gonna skip the lower lash line and the mascara and the eyeliner for now, and I'm gonna move on to my foundation. So I'm gonna be using my Estee Lauder Double Wear. And I'm just gonna mix it with a tiny bit of my Revlon Color Stay in 150 Buff. Just gonna dot this around my face. You guys know the drill. You've seen me do my foundation like a million times. By the way, I've been priming my face with the Nivea aftershave for men, or whatever it's called, I don't know. I blame it on Nikki Tutorials. I actually really like it, and I typically don't wear primers because I feel like they're kind of like a gimmicky product, or at least they don't work for me for the most part. Yeah, this one actually feels like it's really moisturizing, and I actually feel like it makes my foundation last a little bit longer, which is like the first time that a primer has actually done that for me. Plus, I just really love the smell of it. I just love the smell of men's stuff. I don't know why. Probably why I use Quinn's deodorant. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to use my MAC NC15 Pro Longwear Concealer. I'm going to apply this with my fingers and then just blend it out with my sponge. I'm going to apply this down my nose just a little bit. I got asked the other day why I don't contour my nose. I just don't because I don't care, but I highlight down the middle of it just because I feel like it helps it look a little bit more like structured. Also, I feel like it just like helps to balance out the highlight. Just don't really care about contouring it. I feel like sometimes people think that there's like a certain rule to applying makeup, or there's things that you should do or things that you shouldn't do, but really it's just whatever you feel like doing, and I don't feel like people should have to do something just because everyone else is doing it. So there aren't too many spots that I have to spot conceal today, I don't think, except for this demon right here. So I'm just going to take this right here. This is the NYX Correct Conceal Contour Palette, and I'm just going to take the end of a Smith brush and just kind of dot it right on top and then blend it out with my Beauty Blender. Anyways, I'm just going to move on to my Laura Mercier, what is this? Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm going to use my Beauty Blender for this as well. You guys know that this is my favorite way to set my under eye concealer and all of that shiz. And then I'm going to use my Lunatic Cosmetics Labs contour book to contour. I used this in a video recently. This is what it looks like. It's kind of intimidating when you look at it. I'm still kind of confused by it, to be honest, but I'm still trying to like work with it to see what works best for me. So what I like most and what I used in my last video is a mix of these two, so I'm just going to use those again. And this is on the Smith 115 brush. And I figured out that I like to use mostly this on the brush, so I'm going to start with this one. Oh no, I forgot there's spots over here. Back to the concealer. Just gonna pretend like that never even happened. Every time I use my Beauty Blender, I think of when Quinn called it an acorn. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A with Quinn too, so let me know if you guys would be interested in that, because If you follow me on Snapchat, I post a bunch of like weird shit that Quinn does, and I think he's hilarious. And since we're getting married and you know, all that stuff, I think it'd be fun to do like a Q&A so you guys can get to know him and us together better. So if you guys would like to see that, just let me know in the comments. Okay, back to business. I'm taking that guy. So now what I like to do is just take the tiniest bit of this dark gray. I literally just lay like the side of this brush against it like that, tap off the excess, and then use this to kind of sculpt out the outer half or so of my cheekbone. For a highlight, I'm going to go back to my trusty old Ofra Cosmetics Illuminating Blush Stripes. I'm going to take this guy right here and just brush this on the highest part of my cheeks. I'm also just going to put it in between my eyes on my nose, and then just a little bit on the tip of my nose, and Cupid's bow. For blush, I'm going to take this NYX HD blush. This is in the color Amber. I'm going to take this on a Fearless Cosmetics brush. This is extremely pigmented, so I'm going to really make sure I don't have too much on the brush, and just put this in between the highlight and the contour. Okay, moving back to the eyes, I'm going to go back in with my Tartelette palette, and I'm going to take Rebel again, which is this lighter pink, and I'm just going to smoke this out all the way across underneath my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take that fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend this out a little bit. Now I'm going to take the pencil end of that brush and I'm going to dip it into Leader, that darker purple, and I'm going to apply this in the inner third and outer third of my eye, kind of just mimicking the pattern on the top lid. Then I'm just going to take this end of the brush again and just blend that out. So now I'm going to take this super tiny flat thin brush, and this is a Smith 212, and then I'm just going to dip this into Activist and Smoke Show, these two darkest colors. And I'm just going to run this right underneath the lower lash line in the inner and outer third. Then I'm just going to take Firecracker again, which is that same shade that we put on the lid, and I'm just going to run this with my pinky finger in the center part of my lower lash line. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing with the glitter as well. So I'm just going to do a super thin eyeliner all the way across my lid. I'm not going to do a wing or anything. I'm just going to do this so that it hides the fake eyelash band. And then for mascara, I'm just going to be using this Eve Pearl Glamour Lash Mascara. And the lashes I'm going to be wearing today are my Esquito Midnight Symphony lashes, and I'm going to be applying them with the Esquito Lash Glue. So I'm finally going to move on to the inner corner highlight. I'm going to take Charmer again, and I'm just going to use my pinky to place that in the inner corner. And I'm going to go for like a really strong highlighted inner corner just to give like a doe-eyed effect, I guess. So moving on to the lips, I'm going to take my MAC Soar Lip Liner, and I'm just going to outline my lips. I'm not going to fill it in with this, just going to do this really quick. And then I feel like wearing a purple lipstick today because I haven't worn purple on my lips in a really long time. So going to go in with Raven Raisin by Wet n Wild. These are actually like some of my favorite drugstore lipsticks, and I have about 10 of them. So if you guys want me to do like a swatch video on the ones that I have, let me know and I'll do that for sure. And I'm just using a Smith 304 brush to define the lines and make them extra perfect. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the look today. I hope you guys liked this video, and let me know your thoughts on this palette if you have it. I'll have everything that I use listed down in the description box below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!